name's Marty. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm going to teach you how to make scrambled eggs. Well, I like scrambled eggs because, like I mentioned before, I don't eat meat, and eggs have a lot of protein, so it's a pretty tasty breakfast, either with like toast or even like tortillas, a lot of different things. It's like 5:45, so sometimes it's a really tasty dinner. Quarantine be like that. But the first ingredient you're going to need is obviously eggs. I'm going to make 2. So I'm just going to take my eggs in a separate bowl. And that didn't work great. There we go. I'm going to crack them right into the bowl. One at a time. Perfect. And then the next ingredient I'm going to add is milk. I'm using dairy milk. I've seen people use other types of milk before. I don't know enough about the different types of non-dairy milk to know which one is best for scrambled eggs, but I'm sure you can. So I'm going to do just under 1/4 cup of milk. So this is a 1/4 cup measuring cup, and I'm going to kind of like just go like right below the surface. I'd use a full quarter if I was making like 3 or a little more, but yeah, like just under 1/4 cup. I'm going to pour that in. And that's going to help with the texture of the eggs a lot, and it's going to make it a little creamy too. Next thing I'm going to add is salt and pepper, which you're going to add before you start cooking them. So I'm going to add probably like about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a couple cracks on this thing, and then about the same amount of pepper, about a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. That one comes out a little slower. Alright, and then I'm going to take a fork, and I'm going to break both the yolks like that. So the yolk is the yellow part. Then I'm just going to mix that up together. That's what we call scrambling. And the longer you scramble it for, the fluffier they're going to be. If you don't scramble them enough, they're going to end up kind of dense. So like, see how there's the kind of pockets where the egg whites are still kind of separated from everything else? I'm going to keep scrambling until it's all kind of one more consistent color. And for scrambling, all you're doing is kind of mixing with the fork, but you're going in kind of like an upwards motion, like that. So instead of going like this, my fork's going like this. Yeah, if you want to add other spices to your eggs, now's the right time to do so as well. Like, sometimes I add paprika or cayenne. Sometimes if I'm feeling like an Italian flair, I'll add some basil, things like that. You know what, we are going to add some paprika. I'm going to do, probably about 1/8 of a teaspoon worth, just a smidge. But again, as long as you have salt and pepper, after that, it's up to you. Yeah, so that is coming together pretty well. And again, the longer you scramble them, the fluffier they're going to be. So yeah, that's much better. And you can even see those bubbles as well. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to start heating up butter in our pan. I'm going to turn my pan on like medium heat, and then I'm going to take about a tablespoon of butter for this much egg. About a tablespoon of butter. That's a little more, that's fine. If you have butter in a stick, there's actually markings on the side that show where to slice it for different amounts. 1 stick of butter is a 1/2 cup, or 8 tablespoons. So we're going to let that butter chill in there for a minute. And we're going to let that melt, and then we'll keep going. We're going to bubble a little bit. We're going to take that bowl of eggs that we mixed up before. We're going to pour it right into the pan, kind of starting at the middle. And again, we're starting on that medium heat because we don't want it to like do that like sound when you pour it in. If it's sizzling, it's a little too hot. And now we're just going to wait. And as we see the edges start to firm up a little bit, what we're going to do, and I'll show you as it's happening, is we're going to take our spatula. You can use a rubber spatula, you can use pretty much anything, but we're going to take our spatula and just kind of push the edges towards the middle. You don't want to stir it the whole time because that's how you end up with that like kind of gross cafeteria scrambled eggs, where it's all kind of just goo. But it's all about patience a little bit. See how it's got that fold a little bit? And we're just going to keep pushing it to the middle as it cooks. I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house growing up, and I remember one morning in particular where my grandfather made scrambled eggs for breakfast, and I went home and I was talking to my mom and I was like, wow, Granby makes the most amazing scrambled eggs. They taste so much better than yours. And she was like, yeah, it's because you use like 4 tablespoons of butter. Which is fair. And yeah, if you want to, you can add like vegetables to your scrambled eggs. That's a big thing people do, is like egg scrambles, breakfast scrambles. Speaking of my mom and her scrambled egg choices, she tends to do like peppers and onions with hers. I'm gonna add a little bit of cheese to mine. I've done like jalapenos in the past, and like that was pretty tasty. Mushrooms, sausage, all sorts of things. And like right about now is when you would probably start to add like vegetables and stuff if you were gonna cook them in. I'm just doing cheese, so I'm gonna wait just like a couple minutes, because I'm gonna fold that cheese in right when I'm ready for it to start melting together. Yeah, so again, I'm not like stirring it, just kind of pushing it around the pan, folding it over itself a little bit. Now it's pretty chopped up, which is good. That's how we want it to be. Alright, yeah, right about now, I'm gonna get my eggs towards the middle of the pan. And again, you do not need to do cheese. I'm gonna do cheese. I'm gonna turn the heat down a little bit. I'm getting my cheese. You don't need to do cheese. I'm gonna do cheese because I like cheese. Plain and simple. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of this mild cheddar in, which will taste really good with that paprika that we threw in before. I just lost some cheese to the stove. Truly a tragedy. I'm trying to think of a joke about it, but they're all too cheesy. You know, if you can't make yourself laugh, who can you make laugh at the end of the day? Yeah, awesome. So a lot of times when I'm cooking eggs too, I'll like stick some toast in the toaster, so that as it's getting to those last stages where I don't really have to touch it as much, I can go grab the toast, put it on the plate, and then put the eggs directly on the toast. So I'm fancy. But you do you. I'm not making toast tonight. I am making French toast tonight though. Spoiler. Get excited. Yeah, awesome. So that's about where I want it. So we've talked before, anytime you have something in a pan, the pan's still going to be hot for a couple minutes afterwards. So I'm going to get it out of the pan as soon as possible, which means I need to have a plate ready to go. So I'm just going to scrape that right onto there. If I had better hand-eye coordination, I would have scraped it that way so you could see better, but I'm an indoor kid. All right, awesome. So that looks pretty tasty. We got that nice like golden brown. A little bit of that's from the cheddar, a little bit's from the paprika, and a little bit's just from the butter and the egg working together really nicely. And that is how you make scrambled eggs.